Hello friends. So we have a question on functions chapter. In the given question, we are given a function fx or y equals to 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 1. And we know x cannot be minus 1. Now in the A part, we have to identify the vertical asymptotes and the horizontal asymptote. Now, to identify the vertical asymptote, what do you mean by the vertical asymptote? Suppose you have a graph. The vertical asymptote means a line which a graph touches at the infinity and it is vertical. That means we have to find the value of x for which y will tend towards infinity. So even the given function 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 1, what are the values of values of x for which y will tend towards infinity? So we know as x tends towards minus 1, it can be from the right hand side or from the left hand side. So as x tends towards minus 1, y will tend towards infinity. Because as x tends to minus 1, denominator will become very small, and as a result the whole expression will become very large. So one of the asymptotes or the vertical asymptotes will be at x equals to minus 1. Now let us try to find the horizontal asymptote. When we talk about horizontal asymptotes, we are trying to identify an horizontal line at which the graph meets at infinity. Now we can see when the line is horizontal, either x is tending towards infinity or minus infinity. So we have to see what are the values of y when limit x tends to infinity. So in the given question, we can see as x tends to infinity, y tends to 2. And similarly, as x tends to minus infinity, y also tends to 2. So at y equals to 2, we have a horizontal asymptote. Now, let us try to sketch the graph. While sketching the graph, we have two information already with us, that at y equals to 2, we have a horizontal asymptote. So this is your horizontal asymptote, y equals to 2. And also we know that at x equals to minus 1, so at x equals to minus 1, you have a vertical asymptote. Now, we know the graph will tend towards y equals to 2 as x tends to infinity, and graph will tend towards x equals to minus 1 as y tends to infinity. Now, is there any point where graph will cut the coordinate axis? So we have y equals to 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 1. So we know that at x equals to 1 by 2, y will be equals to 0. So at x equals to half, the value of y is 0. So there is one point we know on the graph. Now, is there any point where it will cut the y-axis. When it will cut the y-axis, the x will be 0. So if we put x equals to 0, we know it will get -1. So at -1, it will cut the y-axis. Now, let us see what is happening now. Now, as x tends towards infinity or the positive infinity, we know the graph will tend towards 2. So as x tends towards positive infinity, the graph is tending towards 2 and it passes from this point. So this will be something like this, tending toward meeting this line at infinity. And we also know this will meet at -1 as well. Now let us see what happens when we so let us now see what happens when x approaches -1 from the right hand side. So we have the graph y equals to 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 1. Now in this, x is tending towards -1 from the right hand side. So we put x -1 plus h minus 1 divided by -1 plus h plus 1. So what we get is -2 plus 2h minus 1 divided by h. So what we get is -3 by h plus 2. So as h tends towards 0, this whole term will tend towards negative infinity, that it will be very, very small number. So in the given graph, we know as we approach -1 from the right hand side, the value of y is tending towards -infinity. So at this asymptote, the graph will touch at the negative infinity or near negative infinity. Now let us try to see what happens when we approach -1 from the negative side. So when we approach -1 from the negative side, this will be the value. The value would be, we need to see what will be this. This is -2 minus 2h minus 1 divided by -h. So this will be 3 by h. A negative will be cancelled plus 2. Now as h tends to 0 and x will tend towards -1, the value is tending towards positive infinity. So at the left hand side of the -1, the graph will start from positive infinity, and as we go down and down towards, as x tends towards negative infinity, what happens? We have the function 2x minus 1 x plus 1, and as x tends to minus infinity, y will again tends to 2. So the graph will approach x equals to 2 as x tends towards minus infinity. So this is your graph for the given function. We have two asymptotes at x equals to -1 and y equals to 2. Now let us try to solve the C part. Now let us move on to the C part. In the C part, we have to solve the inequality, where the given function 2x minus 1 divided by x plus 1, we have to identify the value of x for which this function lies between 0 and 2. So we have already plotted the graph. We can see when it lies between 0 to 2, this is the range. That means it should lie between 0 and 2. So from here we can see the part for which this lies between 0 and 2 is for the values of x greater than half and up to infinity. So for the values from the graph, it is very, very clear that for the x greater than half, the value of y lies between 2 and 0. So our solution will be x belonging to half to infinity, where half is not included because we have a strict inequality. Now let us move on to part D. In the part D, there is a slight variation that the function has changed to 2 modulus x minus 1 divided by modulus x plus 1, and it is lying between 0 and 2. So we have to solve this part, and it is written there, solve the inequality for this. Now we have already made the graph, so let us try to plot this graph again. We know the graph would be something like this. Now let us see what happens when x is replaced with modulus x. So in the given graph, if you see, as x is replaced by modulus x, you can see the input x can never be negative. It will always be positive, because 2 times modulus x divided by modulus x plus 1, everything going in this function is positive. So the negative part of this graph will be deleted. So what we will get is only the positive part of the graph. So the negative part of the graph is removed. What we get only is, this is your y equals to 2 asymptote, and the graph would be something like this, starting with from minus 1, cutting at half, so it would be like this, and similarly at minus half it would be like this. So it has become an even function. Now if we see, we have to identify the values of x for which this lies between 0 and 2. So while we have the solutions x greater than half, we also have the solution x less than minus half. As you can see in the graph, there is negative part also, for which the graph is giving an output between 0 and 2, while we do have the positive part. So our solution will be x belonging to minus infinity to minus half union half to infinity. So this is your solution for the D part. For more such questions, do visit our website www.iitnacademy.com and register for detailed explanations. Thank you.